Welcome to Childcare Resources Video Tidbit. This week we're talking about Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Who might identify as Asian American? The U.S. Census Bureau currently defines a member of the U.S. Asian population as a person having origins in any of the original peoples of the Far East, Southeast Asia, or the Indian subcontinent, including, for example, Cambodia, China, India, Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Pakistan, the Philippine Islands, Thailand, and Vietnam. Who might identify as Pacific Islander? The U.S. Bureau identifies Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, NHPI, as a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Hawaii, Guam, Samoa, or other Pacific Islands. About AAPI Month. Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month recognizes the challenges faced by Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders, and Native Hawaiians, and their vital contributions to the American story. The theme for this year is Advancing Leaders Through Purpose-Driven Service. 1978, U.S. Congress recognized Asian Pacific American Heritage Week. 1990, Congress passed a law expanding the observance to a month of that year. 1992, Congress passed a law annually designating May as Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. 2009, President Barack Obama expanded the Asian Pacific American commemoration to include Pacific Islanders and issued his proclamation in honor of Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Visit the museum. The Wing Luke Museum of the Asian Pacific American Experience is right here locally in Seattle. Located at 719 South King Street in Seattle, they connect everyone to the dynamic history, cultures, and art of Asian Pacific Americans through vivid storytelling and inspiring experiences to advance racial and social equity. You can set an in-person tour as well as a virtual one that allows you to experience both the inside and outside of the museum. You can find it at wingluke.org. Music. Consider doing research with the children at your local library or online about Asian and Pacific Islander traditional music and instruments. Some YouTube video search ideas are the Hmong flute, Hmong traditional singing, Japanese taiko drums, Korean traditional musical instruments, Polynesian traditional instruments. Some instrument crafts you could research and do with the children include the Chinese rattle drum, roasting pan Chinese gong, Japanese pellet drums with wooden spoons. Try different Asian, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander recipes. Get the children involved in researching and preparing simple dishes based on an Asian, Hawaiian, or Pacific Island favorite, from Samoan coconut rolls to Vietnamese chicken salad. Fish and rice dishes are frequently consumed, largely due to these countries being close to or on the water. The climate and soil in these regions also play large factors into this. Pani Popo Samoan Sweet Coconut Rolls. Try out Pani Popo or Samoan Sweet Coconut Rolls. Pani Popo comes from Samoa and has been adopted to part of Hawaii's food. It's a sweet and gooey treat that anyone will go nuts for. Pani Popo is great to eat when it is hot with a sweet coconut sauce. Please pause the video now to follow the directions on how to create this sweet treat. Lumpia, Filipino Spring Rolls. Almost every country in Asia has its own interpretation of spring rolls or egg rolls in the United States. In the Philippines, spring rolls are called lumpia. Please pause the video now to follow the directions on how to make this Filipino spring roll. Baked peri-peri chicken tenders. The chicken is coated in a simple marinade that includes urban accents, flavors, Mozambique peri-peri spice blend, and is baked. Please pause the video so you can follow the directions on how to create this peri-peri chicken tenders. Eyes that speak to the stars. Consider reading books about Asian American Pacific Islander heritage to the children in your care. This is a book about a young boy who comes to recognize his own powers and abilities to change the future. When a friend at school creates a hurtful drawing, the boy turns to his family for comfort. He realizes that his eyes rise to the skies and speak to the stars, shine like sunlight rays, and glimpse trails of light from those who came before. In fact, his eyes are like his father's, his agongs, and his little brother's, and they are visionary. Inspired by the men in his family, he recognizes his own power and strength from within. This extraordinary picture book redefines what it means to be truly you. A fun tip is to YouTube search Read Aloud books. They are available under the search Asian Pacific American Heritage Kids Books Read Alouds. The title of this next book is Ohana Means Family by Elima Loomis, illustrated by Kennard Pak. Join the family, or Ohana, as they farm taro for poi to prepare for a traditional luau celebration with a poetic text in the style of The House That Jack Built, an American Library Association notable children's book. This is the land that's never been sold, where work the hands so wise and old that reach through the water, clear and cold, into the mud to pick the taro, to make the poi for our Ohana's luau. A fun tip is to ask your family members if they may read to the children in their home language or any other language they may know. A Gift for Amma, Market Day in India. This book is by Mira Sriram, illustrated by Mariona Kabasa. It's about a girl who explores the vibrant rainbow of items for sale in a southern Indian street market as she searches for a gift for her mother. It includes facts about the items mentioned in markets around the world, as well as photographs taken by the author in her hometown of Chennai, India. This is a 2001 South Asia Book Award winner, a 2020 Forward Review Indies Best Book of the Year Silver Award winner, a School Library Journal Best Books of 2020. A fun tip is you can spend time focusing on basic words in other languages with the children. Use hello and goodbye in another language with all children. You can find these by Google researching hello and goodbye in your chosen language. Thanks so much for watching this week's video tidbit. You may pause the video to copy the URL links for the different recipes here and different children's books. You can also find links and resources in a printable version of this tidbit found in the video description. We hope you enjoyed this video on Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month.